So first, I would like to introduce our panelists. The first is Grishma Karthik. She is an architect by profession, and she's a co-founder and creative director at Creative Lake, a firm which uses 3D technology to transform designs to life and create visually stunning environments. Her experience lays with creating immersive experience for architecture, interior, real estate, and commercial. And also, I'm very proud to announce that she is one of our ACP students. So, thank you so much, Grishma, for joining us. Our second panelist is Shravan Raj Purohit. He is CEO at Intellify. He is an MBA graduate, who has several years of experience in building businesses. Shravan's aim is to turn Intellify into the top augmented reality and virtual reality development agency in the world. So, lesser known fact about him is he is a professional. He was a professional DJ for almost 4 years, and music is his core passion and interest. Thank you, Shravan, for joining us. Our third panelist is Pankaj Sir. Pankaj Sir is the CEO of AjnaConnect, and his notable achievements includes he's a mechatronics engineer from London South Bank University. He has developed AR tech in MIT Media Lab initiative. He is an hardware architect and engineer at IMAR, where he developed one of the world's most advanced 3D scanning system. So let's start with the first question. Uh, how was that? I would like to ask Grishma, as she is working as an architect for a long time. First, I would like to ask her that, according to her, how is XR technology revolutionizing the traditional design collaboration process, and what are the specific benefits it does to architects, designers, and clients?
Hi everyone, and thank you Pramay for the introduction. So I have been working with 3D since last 8 years now, and I would like to start with a little history. Major 3D visualization firms that came up was in 1993. So it's exactly 30 years now, and we are now experiencing a very big revolution in this industry. And so as Pramay asked, like how is it like going through, or how revolutionary it is? So all the clients now, they want to do something new, and this is the thing where the new word is not just a very small thing. It requires some lot of energy and effort to be created. So XR comes in, where we are now showing the clients what exactly they are going to get. So be it in terms of architecture, interior, real estate, or anything which is related to design, they are actually seeing what they are going to get. Also, like in terms of which clients are going forward with it, the interior designers, initially it used to be just like the big ones they were approaching or something, but now also the individual interior designers who are freelancers also are now very much interested in showing their clients how their flat is going to look. So just wear a device, see it, and the clients are also very happy. So this is something which is going to be very amazing in the next 2 to 3 years.
Amazing. So I would like to ask Shravanji to add his opinion or his ideas to whatever Grishma has just shared.
So I think, yeah, so first of all, yeah, hi everyone. It's great to be here, and hi to Pankaj and Grishma, both of you. Uh, so yeah, just to add on what Grishma has said is that obviously 3D is something which is still a little bit of skeptical as of now as well, because majority of the time which we have seen is that the roadblock which comes is the 3D modeling, the animation, and all those parts, right? Everybody wants to create in 3D modeling. Everybody wants to visualize how their flight are going to look like, or how the things are going to work around them. But the major roadblocks come the 3D modeling, their timeline, their pricing, etc., etc. But with the time being, I mean, we are in 2023 right now, and I still remember when we get started in 2018, right? So at that point of time, we were just doing small POCs in VR, AR, and people were still on a very early stage to understand, whether this is going to be success or not. But now, if I look back and see in 2023, obviously, as Grisma mentioned, that not even the big ones, but also the small startups, even the individuals are coming with the requirement that, hey, we want to give a good user experience to our existing customers or the new onboarding customers by adding 3D, by adding XR, to our portfolio and make a wow element for them.
That's great. So, as you said that we are facing like major roadblocks in 3D modeling. So, I would like to ask Pankaj sir about their opinion that how can we overcome all this uh, like major roadblocks in 3D modeling.
Namaskaram everyone. Hello Krishma. Hello Shravan. Pleasure having you guys here. Hi Pramay. A very interesting question. I think these roadblocks were very true couple of years back. Right now, I think with more and more people learning about creating 3D models, creating environments, the roadblocks are decreasing. But the other challenge which I think a lot of companies are facing is finding the right talent. People who know how to create these 3D models, these environments, and with high quality, because in office spaces you want something that is really high quality, specifically within architecture, wherein you really want to make it feel as if it's real. So finding the right talent is becoming a big challenge, and I think that is wherein something that we are working on, trying to create a platform wherein you have people who are looking for XR talent, and then AR, VR, XR, 3D modeling talent, and then you have candidates who know this talent come onto the same platform. So think about it, something like you have Naukri.com, but for XR specifically like that. I think places and things like this is very helpful. A couple of my other colleagues are also working on doing events wherein they get like collaboration between companies that are looking for talent and talent. They can come onto the same room, talk to each other, and start interacting. So things like this, more events and activities like this will be very helpful.
Right. So I just want to add a couple of points on what Pankaj just said is that I think there are two different aspects of it. One is a customer facing and another is finding the right talent, right? Now, on the customer side also, if we see, there are two major things like AR and VR. And when we create a 3D model for that, both of them have a different set of requirements, right? But our clients don't understand that, right? They want the same kind of quality for AR as well. And obviously, when they look into the VR also, they want the same quality, right? So majority of the time, I mean, on early days, it was very hard to explain them. It's really difficult to load down the poly counts or how the quality will squeeze, so etc. etc. But with the time being now, all the major giants getting involved into this, they are making a lot of cases on that, how things are working. So people are still understanding that okay, if it's an AR, I might get a little bit of low quality, but it will look good. If it's an VR, then definitely I can get a high quality, right? So that's the one part. Second part, finding the talent. I think what happens is I have seen that most of the people are still trying to learn, again the same use case, whether if I'm going with the AR part, so what kind of 3D model I'll be creating, how I'll make it low poly as well as the good quality. So obviously both the terms are equivalent as of at that point of time, right? And similar way, if I'm going with the VR, so I have to make sure that the space and everything which I'm designing, it looks good. So yeah, just wanted to add that point.
That's a great addition. Thank you so much, sir. So moving on, I would like to ask Grishma that what are the main challenges or limitations that architects, designers, and clients might encounter when adopting the XR technology?
The major challenge that we personally are facing right now is, of course, the budget constraints. That is something which is never going to go away. But apart from that, if you see technically, then as such, it's nothing is a constraint as such. It's just that we need to increase the awareness in them that why it is going to be useful for them. And once I think we succeed in that, then nothing is a challenge or a constraint. Also, it depends on what the client wants and what the client needs. because want and need are two different things. So right now it's more of everyone is wanting to do something, but if there's something that is a need of the hour. So for example, if I can say, when we are creating an Unreal interactive immersive experience for the interiors, so we are actually trying to do is to completely eradicate the need to create a sample flat in that. So to make the client understand is a big challenge, that why, if you do not create a sample flat and if you just create an immersive experience, it will be much more helpful to you, and it will be cost saving, it will be material saving, and of course we all know that a sample flat once built, they of course they break, the person who takes the flat majorly they break it down and they create whatever they want. So major thing is to make people aware about why XR is important, what will be the need of that.
Uh, Lovely. So I would like to ask Shravan sir to give an addition to this. So what they feel, that what are the issues which are like people are facing while adopting the XR technology, and what are the challenges you need to overcome?
Right. So even if I talk about particularly India right now, so majority of the interior or the exterior which I have seen is particularly the static one. So you create the 3D model of the entire apartment or row house or bungalows, right? You just put it into Google Cardboard or any similar devices, and you just show it to them whenever the customers arrive. So that's the one part of it, where a low quality 3D model can also work. But now, with the emerging demand, we have seen that now people want a customized solution. So for example, I have an empty room, I go with my MR headset or any sort of VR device, right? And I can just customize my whole room. So that's a different generic requirement which is coming in now. With the first part, it's good that we can just create one sample flat apartment and we can show it to the multiple people. But when it comes to the customization, I think what happens is we need a dozens of model, right? A good amount of, like for example, we need a sketchfab to pull all the models from there and show it to the customers just to fit their requirements. So when I speak to a lot of interior designers and architects, so what they need is they don't want to spend a lot of money on every time customizing anything. So they want some sort of properties where they have a backend, they have ready-made available models. They give this VR device to the people. They just pull in all the 3D model, whichever they want, resize it, rescale it, and then they save it. But again, it's a, again coming back to the Grishma said that it's a challenging and as well as the pricey game. In order to build the pipeline of all those 3D model, uh, because I like the different kind of sofa and you might like a different kind of sofa, right? So everybody has their own requirement. Nobody's going to have a equal kind of sofa at their home. So that challenge, I think, which I see is right now with customizing every flat or apartment or anything for each customer need, which becomes a little bit of pricey. That is the I understand is a little bit of challenging or roadblock for now.
Great. So I would like to ask Pankaj sir that have they like do they have any other addition to this?
I think both very valid points from Grishma about the cost and from Shravan about having a tool which is easily customizable. Both of them have become a big challenge. I think where we are working on is trying to get the cost down. Grishma, and I think that is wherein it will go away very soon. Back then when we started, the devices were 5 lakh, 6 lakh rupees, so heavy, 10 wires coming out of it. Slowly the price has reduced, and it comes somewhere around 1 lakh. Still expensive, I know, but I think as we progress over, I think over the next 4 5 years, you would get really high quality 4K 5K devices at around 25 30,000 rupees, is what we are also working towards.
Great. So moving on to our next question, I would like to ask Grishma that can you provide any examples of real life projects that you have worked where XR powered visual design collaboration you have done?
So what we are working right now with a very reputed builder. So this project mainly consists of, what we are doing is we are creating the whole experience in Unreal Engine, And right now, as of now, we are going to run it on touch screens because again of the headset budget constraints. But again, the this is slowly getting adopted by more and more developers, the all the A class developers. So we are doing exterior also, and also the interior, like I said, replacing the sample flat. So for exterior, if you all must have seen, whenever you go to a builder's office, you might see the whole scale model of the project in the sales office. So we are replacing the scale model with the whole exterior user experience. So if you see the just the scale model, you can just see like it's just block block block, and you don't know what surrounding it is going to be or where your block exactly is going to be. So working with Unreal, it solves all these challenges. You can easily incorporate the whole surroundings into it. You know, with you can take drone shoots and you incorporate drone shoot 360s into your environment and you see them. So I think one step is already done, that creating the content. Now to see it into XR devices is something which is we are working towards it, and I think very slowly even that will get adopted, because this is just still touchscreen experience. Once someone wears it and sees, it's just going to be completely mesmerizing. Thank you.
That's really great. So I would like to ask Shravan sir that can you just share his expertise and how to improve this the XR experience?
Right. So I think the example which Grishma gave is, it's around shooting with the drones and getting all those high quality images and everything, right? So every time when we integrate that kind of images, videos, or anything into the MR or VR devices, there is always a challenge with that because it's all are very high quality. We have to remove unnecessary meshes from them, or we have to make sure that those are compatible with most of the devices. So as of now, the recent projects which we did, there are a couple of projects in which we successfully integrated all of the images taken from drone, 360 images, and all the stuff, and all those are successfully working. Because the good part would be you get a high quality image, so obviously the quality and the feel will definitely look more good. And second, obviously when we talk about the VR, Unreal is much better when we develop any kind of solution in Unreal. But obviously, as a company, we do a lot of work on Unity only. So Unreal is something we haven't done, but obviously we can achieve with the Unity as well, which we have done over a period of the time. So a couple of example, like I'll say that in 2018 we created this entire platform for a company in India. They are a very big interior company. I won't be able to take name, but yeah, they're a big company in India, and they wanted to in 2018, again the very high time. So they wanted to just give an user experience to the customers, where they come on the platform, they design their own house, they integrate all the products which they already have, and then they visualize it. So what we did was we created a web platform where you come, you just build your own home with all the measurements. You drag and drop all the 3D models within that, and then you get multiple options. You view it in 3D, view it in VR. So at that point of time, we were just giving access to cardboard. So when you click on that, it comes into the completely visual experience. You put it into the Google Cardboard and you view it. So that was a quite of hit experience which we did, and client loved it, their customers loved it. If I talk about the recent experience which we did during the COVID time, so there's a company in Switzerland. They are also into interior designing, and their main challenge was how to show all of their kitchens to the customers, right? So we did AR and VR, both the apps, which solve all of their problems. So VR app was able to give them an option to customize the entire kitchen, changing the color of cabinets to changing color of their everything, like wash machine and everything. And AR app was just more of like just visualizing how their kitchen will look like if they are looking at their home. So yeah, these are the real time examples which we did.
Yes, Grishma, you have raised your hand.
So I would like to add one short success story of ours. There was a client, and this client is developing in the SRA land. So SRA is slum development land. So they have to convince the people from the slums to give the land, and they were not very convinced because they had no idea what was going to come how it will look, what will be in it for them. So this client then approached us. We were initially just doing the 3D visualizations for the client, and the client approached us like, is there any way that we can, show them, like literally show them what they are going to get. So we created a complete demo and we showed them in a VR headset. And you won't believe, we put a stall in that locality. Initially it's just the kids that were coming to us, and we showed it to them. These kids, they went to their parents and they said, oh, it's so amazing, so amazing, something new. And then it was like parents were coming, and these people, they emptied the whole land in just 1 month. So the client was so happy. This is, I think, 3 years ago we have done this. So it was one example, wherein it's not just all the big leaders or the a quality people are doing this, but even the small builders who need something, and this is something which was very close to our heart, this project, because it was the first VR project that we had taken, and it really helped the client. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing project you have done. Really amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, Shravan sir, you have raised your hand.
Yeah. So just one good point which Grishma mentioned was about the kids visualize it, the kids reviewed that, and they went to the parent, right? So I think Grishma, I think Pankaj, you guys must have observed most of the time with our client as well that what happens is when we say, hey, this particular thing is going to take 4 weeks or 6 weeks of time, right? And then the client say, hey, this is only 2 weeks of work. But then we realize, we know that okay, after the 2 weeks when we give a build or something to the client, definitely they are going to come back with a lot of changes, because AR and VR, we three of us very understand clearly that it's not all about a normal mobile app or web development. It's more of like you build it, you give it to them, they visualize it, and then they know that okay, this is the actually thing I wanted or I don't want it, and then they give us the actual changes. So I just realized that point while Grishma was saying.
This is actually a huge constraint when it comes to
Yeah,
AR VR, because you need to go on, keep on doing the changes, and
exactly.
changes, they start right from 3D models. So first go and change in the 3D model, then do the materials, texturing, everything. This is really a huge challenge.
Yeah, even in when we do, I mean, we do a lot of kids book as well, right? So when we create those characters, right, 3D characters, so
Mhm.
a couple of clients always come to us and say, don't share us the skeleton or something, just show us the final character. And we are always like, we are happy to do that, but we know that once we build that whole character, we know that 50-60% of the changes are going to come. So
Yeah.
that's why we share the skeleton first, then we share the texture one, etc., etc.
That was great. Pankaj sir, I would like to ask you to add something to this.
I think they have covered it very well. But to add to Shravan's point, I think coming back to having a easy drag and drop editor will be something that will be very helpful within this domain, so that all the changes either the client themselves can do it on their end. If not, it will be easier for us to not put as many man hours into it.
Yeah, agree. And just to add on what you said, we are currently in a kind of a discovery phase for that, doing with one of the Saudi clients. So hopefully it turns out and we start working on it. So hopefully we have some good, good use case to see and how it works. So still on a very POC stage as of now, but we are doing it.
That's great, and all the best for you, sir. So I would like to ask Grishma that what are the specific features or functionalities of XR that are particularly useful for architects and designers as of now?
As of now, one thing that we can do is when we are creating this clicking thing in Unreal Engine, changing the models, 3-4 options, giving them 3-4 options. Again, that comes with a lot of challenges, but that is something when there's a small space or something, maybe just a 2 BHK flat or something, it is very useful. Second thing which is very useful is um, if there's a structure and just the facade needs to be changed, like there are two facades to the commercial building and just the facades need to be changed. So designing the facade and then seeing it exactly how it is going to look is a very great thing for architects, and uh, we have two clients who are already doing this with us. So the third thing again is we are working towards it. It's not yet into picture, but working towards it. We are creating what do you say? You It can be like, creating the whole structure and seeing the whole structure where it is going to be. So that is going to be the complete scale thing, getting the complete, seeing this complete scale model. But of course, it is again a lot of challenges.
That's great. So when it comes to XR content development, mainly there are two engines which is used, that is Unity and Unreal. I would like to ask Pankaj sir that what do you think, which tool is like best to settle specifically like to for in architecture domain?
I think not just architecture, but across all domains, my answer would be similar. As for someone who wants to just start and just wants to play around with AR, VR, XR, uh, then Unity is good for them because it's very easy, very small learning curve. But someone who probably wants to build a career into this domain, he should first go for Unreal and then also learn Unity, because it's not very hard. Once you go understand Unreal, Unity learning will be easier, because now you've understood a much more complex tool. You're moving towards easier tool. But going forward with, even let's say Apple releasing their glasses, all these new devices that are coming up which are 4K, 5K, people would expect the quality of the experiences to be very very high. And Unity, because of the framework on which it is built, there are a lot of limitations in terms of the kind of quality it can match, also quality to the processing power that is required to produce that quality. There is a lot of restrictions because of the fundamental technologies, while as Unreal has that added advantage wherein you have really high quality, high poly models uh, which run very smoothly on a Qualcomm XR2 chipset on majority of these XR VR devices. So I would highly recommend someone who wants to build a professional career to start with Unreal and then play around with Unity. But if you want to just play around and quickly experience, then Unity is the easiest tool to start. And Shravan, if you want to add, Krishma, if you want to add.
No, I think you said very rightly that Unity is easily accessible because the resources, the materials, everything is very easily available. People can just go on Google and search it, and they can even start learning around that. But at the same point of time, when it comes to the Unreal, it's very precise, limited resources, but again very powerful. So both of them have their own pros and cons, and I mean, again, depending on which particular way you want to grow. I mean, if you are keen towards AR more, then definitely I would suggest always, Unity is the better way. And if you are going with VR, then you should start with Unreal. Again, if you have that much bandwidth and that much resources available with you. Otherwise, you can also do a lot of stuff with VR and Unity as well.
I also feel, as Shravan rightly said, that if you want to go with AR experiences, there's nothing better than going with Unity. Even for architecture, Unity is better for AR experiences, but for VR experiences and to create like really precise thing, Unreal is really important. But when we are talking specifically about architecture and interior, then Unreal learning is a must, because you can create so many options inside it, and there can be so many like pinpoints what you can do. So lot of course lot of like research is required with blueprints, so as to what all can you create, can you not create, what all will work or not work. But again, if it comes to architecture or interior, Unreal needs to be there.
That was a really great addition. I would like to ask Shravan sir that what do you think about the user experience plays a really great role, and as we have already discussed that compared to Unreal, Unity does not give that much hyper realistic content. So, what would you like to suggest on that?
So I think couple of things which we noticed over a period of the time with Unity and when it comes to the designing, integration, and everything, right? So obviously, when you integrate designing or designs with Unity, right, it's always a challenge, right? You don't get that look and feel which you get in the native developments, right? So if you compare any sort of design with Unity app and again the same design with the native app, then definitely you'll always see a lot of differences between that. So again, design plays a lot of thing into the user experience, because how the users start and where the users end, that is the, I mean, obviously you create a good model, you create a good functionalities, everything is good. But until and unless you don't design, the entire flow of how the user is going to start and where the user is going to end, then definitely, it creates a lot of mess around that and your product always fail. So when you start with that, definitely what we do is we do a discovery phase always whenever we start with any sort of app or product development, and we try to identify how the users are going to react, what kind of behavior they have, and how they are going to react to this particular functionalities or features. And that's how we keep adding materials on different stuff within that, and that's how we design that.
That was really great. So I would like to ask Pankaj sir that we have been talking about how to like in developing apps, AR VR apps. So I would like to ask Pankaj sir to comment on the hardware part, that really the hardware is able to support the app which we are talking about.
Okay, two aspects. One is while developing the experience, you would require high-end hardware if you want to run on Unreal. With Unity, slightly mediocre would be okay, but Unreal, because the idea is that you're using it to create high-quality content, so a high-quality hardware is required. That is wherein trying to use virtual machines becomes a much better option, so that you don't have to invest that 80-90 lakhs 80-90 thousand to 1 lakh for the hardware of the laptop or a PC. In terms of experience, currently the latest is the Qualcomm XR2 chipset, which majority devices, whether it be top AR VR manufacturers use, is what is working on. In that, if you do the right optimization, majority of the applications will work on the hardware itself. But currently, we are also working. Also, the industry is working on remote rendering. So you essentially render everything on the cloud and stream the pixels to the device with almost little to no latency. If we move in the right direction in this direction, then probably over next 6 months to a year, the size of the experience, the processing requirement of the experience will not matter as much, because it won't happen on the device itself but will happen on the cloud and with almost no latency streamed to the device.
That's a really great point, Pankaj sir. As I've seen that people are posting their queries in chat, so I would like to say that in the last 10 minutes, your questions will be addressed. So meanwhile, I'm requesting all the attendees. So whatever questions you want to ask to our panelists, you can post it there, and it will be addressed in the last 10 minutes. All right. So talking about, we have already talked about hardware and software. So again, I would like to ask Shravan sir that what is the exact role of 3D modeling in XR Power, like design collaboration, and how does it contribute to the accuracy, realism, and overall quality of the design?
Sure. So I think when I mean when we just want to add that why 3D modeling and XR are both very compatible, because if there is no 3D, then XR won't look that beautiful, right? Which is looking right now. So whenever we share our portfolio with anybody, and when people ask us that, hey, you guys don't do 3D modeling, then we were like, 3D modeling is not something we sell as a service, but that's an essential part of the AR and VR which we do. So that's how we demonstrate 3D modeling, right? Now coming to the XR collaboration and how it works, that obviously if you remember, the first point which I made was that if you have a a bunch of 3D models or a tool where you can fetch 3D models from there, right? So definitely it can help, like, architects and people to demonstrate the real time scenarios with the people. So for example, I go to a particular person and tell them that, hey, I have this particular unit which I want to sell, and the customer wear the headset and they see, hey, I don't like this. But in the real time, the architect is also viewing on the TV that what particular section he is referring to. So on the real time, they can change the 3D model, they can change the interior, they can change the color. Now that can only happen if you have a predefined things within that, or if you have a bunch of 3D model in the backend from where you can pull and you can just grab and drop in there. So that's how what will happen is the collaboration is happening instantly. You're saving time, you're saving a lot of energies. Otherwise, earlier what used to happen is, you go with something on an ipad or something, you show it to them, then they say, hey, I don't like it. Then you go back, you work on the maya or max, wherever, you do all those changes, you go back. So the back and forth is too much. But now with the help of xr collaboration and everything, even remotely also, for example, if your client is sitting in outside of country or maybe in a different city, right? So if they have a headset or something, they can definitely join virtually. You guys can collaboratively see how your house looks like. They can drag and drop the furniture, they can take the real time feedbacks. So all this is happening now. So 5 years back, when it was a dream to see such things, but now it is happening in a reality. And with coming all the latest devices and everything, they are so much powerful. So definitely things are going to be very easy for, specifically for the interior designers and architects and everyone.
That's great. So I would like to ask Grishma that since we have seen a rise of AI in the recent years, so I would like to ask that is she using any specific tools, or what does she think that the tools which will help her in doing great 3D modeling?
So one thing that is which we are using is Midjourney AI to create some samples. We just create something and we just show it to the client if it's the designing part, and then we get into it. Second thing we use is Photoshop AI, because that is really a boon for us. And what happens is, um, you do not really get Indian humans as 3D models. So you just go to Photoshop AI, just type Indian 3D model and it's done. So your image is created with that. So majorly all interior designers, architects, everyone just keeps asking, we need Indian models, but it was a really big headache for us. And Photoshop AI is slowly solving it. Although yes, there are challenges in terms of when we put a complete Indian, so then it's a matter of what you prompt. So prompting is really important in that part.
That's really great. So I would like to ask Pankaj sir, as Grishma has already told that what kind of tools she has been using. So I would like to ask Pankaj sir to help us understand that what are tools which can be used to optimize the 3D modeling for architects.
I'm not sure if I can answer this with limited understanding of what tools can be used within the architectural space, but I think Grishma spoke about two key tools. One tool which I have personally been using is large language model like ChatGPT, wherein for doing quite a lot of my task or getting a lot of information, it becomes a lot easier. So this could be used for probably even understanding what are the prompts that you can use inside Photoshop AI. So I've been using that quite a bit, and some things that would traditionally take me about 4 to 5 days, now within a day they are ready. Yes, Grishma.
So just so you said, so I remembered, like we use Chat GPT like in minutes, but that is also a bad thing. But again, it's very useful and just reduces our time. So initially for animations, we needed to do a lot of storyboarding, like from where the camera will pan, what will be the starting point, what will be the mood of the picture, what will be the lighting of the whole sequence, everything. But but now you just give few prompts and it's ready. So within 1 hour the storyboarding is done, which earlier used to take maybe say 4 to 5 days. Then you send it to the client, then the client gives you revision. So it's just so easy now.
That's lovely. I would like to ask Pankaj sir that looking into the future, what advancements or developments we see